You're listening to the Membership Geeks podcast, bringing you proven practical tips and advice from the leading experts on growing a successful membership business.
Hey there, membershippers. Welcome to another episode of the Membership Geeks podcast. I'm your host, Mike Morrison, founder of the Membership Geeks and chief geek in charge around these parts. And I want to thank you so much for spending part of your day with me. If you are a first-time listener, first of all, welcome. Congratulations, you have found us. This is the place to be if you want advice and insights on growing a membership business. And if you're a long-term listener, you know I love and appreciate you. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button, and if you've been with the show for a while, you've heard a lot of the episodes and you've had something of value from them, it would mean so much to me if you could take just a moment or two of your time to leave a nice positive review, ideally with 5 shiny stars, so that other people can see just how useful this show has been, and of course, so we can reach more people in the membership world, have more of an impact, and just make better membership. Now, in the spirit of making better memberships, we recently released the Online Membership Industry Report 2024. Now, we've been releasing this report every couple of years now, where we are surveying thousands of membership owners in order to get a clearer idea of some of the benchmarks, some of the trends, and the makeup of the online membership world. Because online memberships are still a pretty niche or niche industry, still a pretty small type of product compared to things like online courses, compared to things like software as a subscription. And because of that, there's not a wealth of data or useful information out there about the market at large. Usually when you're getting information or data about memberships, they mean memberships in a broader capacity, including associations, book clubs, kind of local membership groups where it's all offline, it's all physical, or there's subscription information. So there's a lot of data up there about subscription businesses, but that also includes streaming services. It also includes software as a service and the various tools that you might already be using for your business, like hosting or email services. So there's really never been a solid bank of data, benchmarks, and trend information around memberships. And so back in 2019, we kicked off our initiative really to solve that problem, to fix that hole, and to help create a wider appreciation and understanding of the online membership world. And so the last time we did this report was in 2022. There were a lot of fascinating insights, particularly because we were just coming out of the pandemic. And so I'm very, very proud to be able to update that information with survey data from over 2,000 online membership owners of various levels of experience in industry. And we only surveyed people who already have their memberships up and running, not people who are in the process of building or launching. So this is coming from real businesses out there. And we dive into sales performance, retention. We dive into things like the engagement strategies people are using, the tactics they're using to keep their members engaged, what kind of content they're offering, what software they're offering, their sales figures, revenue, member numbers, churn, everything you can shake a stick at. We have compiled this information and released it available for free to anyone who wants to get their hands on it. If you go to membershipbenchmarks.com, that's membershipbenchmarks.com, you'll be able to download the Online Membership Industry Report 2024 absolutely free and dive in to this wealth of information and data. So I just wanted to give some of my top takeaways, top thoughts on the back of this year's industry report, really just highlighting some of the headline info, the headline insights that I've gained from it, some things you might find interesting, and my take on what the stats and what the data shows overall about the membership industry. So first off, it's really solidified for me that starting a membership is something that continues to have a significant impact on the lives and the business of the people who do it. This is something that has always been my favorite thing about online memberships, the ability to give you freedom, flexibility, fulfillment, as well as financial reward. And so it's really gratifying, and it really reaffirms it for me to see that other people are having the benefit of the type of things that that my business has with memberships, that people in my community are having, and with the main things that really drive my passion for this world. Now, over 73% of respondents said that they're seeing increased revenue in their business compared to when they didn't have a membership. That's nearly 3/4 of people are seeing revenue going up by introducing a membership into their business. And almost 2/3 of people said they now have greater enjoyment and fulfillment in their work since starting their membership business. And almost half of the survey respondents are pinpointing location independence as one of the main things they're enjoying about having a membership. Now, these numbers are fairly consistent to when we did this report back in 2022. However, of course, in 2022, there were a lot of new memberships that had launched during the pandemic. So you'd expect that those would have increased revenue since a lot of people started a membership during that time because they had to pivot from a job or a business that COVID ended up shutting down. But now things have settled and we're a couple of years removed from that and things are back to something resembling normal. That same positive impact can still be seen. It's not just people kind of relieved that they're being able to salvage their revenue or salvage their business thanks to a membership. Now, we also ask people if they actually enjoy being a membership owner. It's a simple but a huge question. And just shy of 90% said that they are enjoying being a membership site owner. Now, that's some pretty significant job satisfaction, I've got to say. Some people weren't sure yet. They're still kind of figuring things out. And only a very, very small percentage said that they were unhappy being a membership owner, which is a pretty good success rate, I would say, for running a membership business. Overall, my main takeaway is really that the membership industry seems like it's reached a level of maturity. This was honestly my biggest takeaway from comparing this year's report to the 2022 report, but also to the first one that we did back in 2019. The differences between 2019 and 2022 were significant, whether it was revenue, member numbers, team sizes, and so on. There was a lot of, I suppose, volatility between those years in terms of the variance of responses and the fact things were just stretched more all over the place. The numbers were very symptomatic of an industry that hadn't quite found its feet. However, with the 2024 report, we're seeing things seem to settle a lot compared to previous years. Many of the benchmarks this time round are similar to where they were a couple of years ago, which does suggest that the industry has matured and doesn't have that volatility, nor is it just some flash-in-the-pan bandwagon that's hot for a year and then fizzles out. It's holding its ground in terms of performance. And this aligns with other things that I'm seeing in the broader membership space. 4, 5, 6 years ago, a big part of my job was just educating people on what an online membership was, teaching them fundamentals, explaining things like churn. So that's something a lot of people just hadn't heard of. Whereas now it feels like the whole world of memberships has been demystified a lot. There's a lot more information out there, and I think memberships have become more understood and somewhat more mainstream and accepted as an online business model. It's not some fringe thing. It's not something you have to really make the case for why you would start one. People are coming into this space much better educated. There are more people out there talking about and teaching about memberships. The membership tech market is more stable. We're starting to see a lot of plugins that weren't really fantastic starting to thankfully fizzle out. We're also starting to see, companies like MemberPress. MemberPress are now kind of hoovering up some of the other membership plugins as well, like Wishlist Member, and kind of making it part of a more cogent ecosystem of software. So that tech market is maturing as well. All of this is a great thing to see, and it's very promising for the future of memberships, especially given how strong sales and growth are in the membership world. Around 44% of established memberships have had more than 1,000 members join over the lifetime of their business. That increases to 71% for memberships that have been around for more than 3 years. Just under half of all established memberships are making over 6 figures a year, and this rises to just over 60% for memberships that are over 3 years old. And 66.2% of memberships said that their income had increased in the past 12 months. So growth is clearly solid across the industry. And again, this is steady with previous years as well. Something else that seems to have settled is the urge to mess with the core strategy of your membership. Fewer people are messing with the formula. There are a lot less memberships that are switching their enrollment model, for example, with only 17.2% changing that strategy in the past 12 months. So their enrollment model being whether they're open all the time for people to join or whether they're closed year round and they're only open for a couple of enrollment windows, a couple of launches. Fewer memberships are making those changes. Of the people who did switch in the last 12 months, only 17.2%. But of those, over 60% switched from closed to open, with the open model outperforming closed door model on almost all KPIs. And only 18.3% of memberships are planning to change enrollment model in the next 12 months, of which a high proportion are considering moving from closed to open. So again, things are getting normalized. Things like being closed door and having that volatility, that feast and famine kind of approach, these are becoming pushed out as the way to do things, as the way to run your membership. And the more commonplace and the more likely model to lead you to success, the model that is used by the most successful memberships in the world, being open all the time, that is again becoming more standardized and more settled within the membership world. Even pricing is staying fairly stable, which is impressive considering there have been cost of living crises and, inflation around the world has been all over the place. But pricing in the membership world is staying fairly stable too. 60% of memberships have not changed their price in the last 12 months, and 63.4% say that they have no plans to increase their price in the next year. Frustratingly, the report does show us that there is still a high number of membership owners that do not know key figures such as churn, average subscription length, or member lifetime value. 45% of people didn't know their churn rate. 47% don't know the average amount of time someone stays subscribed for. And 60% of people don't know the member lifetime value, the total amount on average that a member will spend with them during their membership. This awareness, this knowledge has improved marginally since the 2022 report, but not enough. And that lack of progress mirrors the lack of improvements we've seen in reporting within membership plugins and software. It's still not good enough. And many of the tools that are out there still don't even have a way of telling you what your churn rate is. The number one, the most needed stat in memberships, churn rate. And most membership tools do not give you that number. Now, speaking of churn, almost 89% of memberships have a churn rate that is below 10%. 44.2% of memberships actually have churn that is less than 5%. More than 2/3 of memberships that have been running for over a year reported that their churn has either stayed the same or has improved in the past 12 months. Now, this would indicate that some of the turbulence from the pandemic period and the subsequent cost of living crises has subsided. Anyway, I'm going to leave things there. Before I end up basically just listing out every stat and every takeaway in this report, that would make for some pretty dry listening. And really, I am just scratching the surface and whetting your appetite because there's so many interesting findings, benchmarks, and takeaways inside this year's report. So I highly encourage you to head over to membershipbenchmarks.com and download your copy now. It is completely free because we want to make this as easy as possible to get this data out there and improve awareness, education, and understanding around the membership world. So spread the word, send it to a friend. If you're running a business that helps other memberships, blogs, podcasts, if you create software for membership owners or anything like that, please feel free to use these stats, quote them in your articles, quote them in your emails. Give a little hat tip towards us and link people to the report so they can download it as well. But the more we get this data out there, the clearer the picture becomes for the membership industry. The better informed we all are, the better decisions we make, the more our memberships grow. And so we all win by helping improve this wonderful world of online memberships. That is it from me for another episode of this show. I hope you found this useful. I'll be back again next time with another installment of the Membership Geeks podcast. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this week's episode of the Membership Geeks podcast, we invite you to check out membershipacademy.com. Membership Academy is the original membership about memberships, and it's the essential resource for anyone at any stage of starting, growing, and running a successful online membership business. Whether you're still trying to figure out what your idea is going to be and you need some help making it a reality, or whether your website is already up and running and you're looking for ways to grow and attract new members, then Membership Academy can help you to get to the next level. Not only do you get access to our step-by-step membership roadmap, our extensive training library, and exclusive member-only discount and tools, you'll also become part of our supportive, active community of membership owners that will help you along the way in your journey with feedback, encouragement, and advice. All of this and more make Membership Academy the #1 place to be for anyone looking to start, manage, and grow a successful membership business. Check it out and join the community at membershipacademy.com.